and you'll have some time left over. Okay, here we go. So for our notes, let's put this as worksheet 61. And we're going to put excluded values. This is the majority of your assignment today. You don't have to do a lot of factoring and doing all this stuff. You're just telling me your excluded values, okay? Here's what an excluded value is. If I were to define it, it's this. It's what makes the denominator go to 0. And after you see a couple examples, you'll easily figure it out. There's a kind of a shortcut on one of them. So when I talk about excluded value, here's what. If you have a calculator handy, can you take 3 divided by 0? What is that? What is 3 divided by 0?
Nothing.
It's nothing. It's undefined. It's impossible. So if you type this on your calculator, I don't know, what does the yellow calculator say? Does it say undefined? It says error, okay? There's no way you can do it. It's impossible. So this means that we call that an excluded value. Whatever makes that go to 0 is excluded because it's impossible to do, okay? So here's an example. Let's say I gave you that problem, 2 over x plus 2. So let's think about it, and then we'll show you how you find it. What number could I plug in for x that makes this go to 0? What number can I plug in for x that makes that go to 0?
-2.
-2. That is your excluded value. -2. Now here's why. What's -2 plus 2? 0. And 2 divided by 0 is undefined. We can't do it. Okay? So we would just call this our excluded value. Do you see a little shortcut to figure that out? If it's x plus 2, what did you notice the answer is? -2. It's just opposite of what you see. If that's plus 2, that's -2. So what would be the excluded value for that? X minus 5. What would make this go to 0? Positive 5. It's just opposite of that. If this is a minus, this is a plus. Okay? And that should make sense. What's 5 minus 5? 0. Okay? How about, I don't really have a lot of things to show you. How about x minus 6? What would make that go to 0? 6. Yeah, 6. So your excluded value is 6. This is kind of what we're doing today. Now here's the thing though. You cannot find excluded values on a problem like this. You need to factor it first. Okay? So before we do anything, notice that this is a binomial. Let's put parentheses around it. What can I do to factor that? I could take out a 2. Whoops. So once you factor it, now you can tell me your excluded values. Well, this doesn't have a variable, so ignore it. What would make x minus 3 go to 0? Positive 3, right? It's just opposite of what you see. So your excluded value would be positive 3. So before you state your excluded values, you must factor first. Now notice here, I couldn't factor it.
So the questions today are asking us to get the excluded value?
They want to know that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Where did 3 come from? Is it because you're factoring it by 2?
Well, no, the 3 came from, because notice in parentheses I have x minus 3. So I have to ask myself, what number can I plug in for x that would make this go to 0? Well, it'd be positive 3. 3 minus 3.
Yeah, but like from -16.
Oh, to here to here?
Yeah.
I noticed that there's a GCF here, so I factored out a 2 first. And so when I factored out a 2, I was left with x minus 3. And so that's where that 3 came from. Okay? Let's do a couple more, and this is kind of what we're doing today. This is it. So, let me write down, I have a couple, how about this one? We haven't done one like this yet.
What's the line? Oh,
It's just a fraction bar. Okay. You can't tell me the excluded value of this yet. We have to factor it.
Oh.
You're gonna do, it's not as bad as you think though. Step number one, put parentheses around any binomial or trinomial. So I'm gonna put parentheses around this. Notice it's a trinomial, so we immediately go to build. What is a minus plus always gonna give you? A minus plus. What's it gonna be in my
Oh,
parentheses?
it's freaking, obviously a minus minus.
A minus minus. Okay, here we go. What times what is 14?
7.
When you add them, because they're both negative, do you get 9?
7 plus 2.
Okay. Can you tell me your excluded values now? There's going to be 2 of them. You have one for every parentheses.
Yeah.
What would make that go to 0?
2.
2 and
7.
there you go. Those are your excluded values.
So it's super hard.
That's super hard. All right, so you see all I did is I factored it. I set each one. Kind of think of it as this is its own problem and this is its own problem. 7 and 2. Good? Here's even easier ones now. Would you classify 3x squared as a monomial, binomial, or trinomial?
Binomial.
How many parts are
I
there?
meant trinomial.
How many parts are there?
I meant monomial.
There you go. This is a monomial. Do you have any pluses or minuses separating it? So this is a monomial. Whenever you see a monomial, your excluded values, there's no work to do. What can I plug in for x? When I times it by 3, I get 0. What's anything times 0? 0. When you have a monomial, there's no work to do. Your excluded value is 0. I just look at it and say, that's a monomial, it's 0. Because what's 3 times 0? 0. Okay? So you like these because there's no work. You don't have to factor. You don't have to do anything. You just have to tell me what makes it go to 0. Now, do you notice that we do nothing in the numerators? We don't care about the numerators. If I gave you this big, ugly problem here, and I know a lot of people say, well, I got to do all this work. No, you don't. When you're doing excluded values, all you care about is the denominator. You don't care about the numerator at all. You just tell me the denominators. What would make this go to 0 now? 0. It's a monomial, right? So your excluded value is 0. So see how easy it is? You have to first put parentheses. You then factor, if needed, if possible, and then you just tell me your excluded value. Remember, extraneous root means excluded value. So if you hear me mix up the terminology, it means the exact same thing. So here's your steps right here. Put parentheses around any binomial, trinomials, factor it, and then tell me your excluded values. Okay? Any questions? So that's what they mean by excluded values. Because it's impossible to divide by 0. Okay? You'll hand out your papers, we'll do a couple together, and then there's going to be some on the back side where you have to do exactly what you did yesterday. And we'll do one of those so you can see it. Okay? This should easily be done today. Get it done, and I will give you extra credit. Just show it to me before you leave. You're going to have a half hour, almost 40 minutes. Get it done, show it to me, and I'll give you some extra credit. Okay, there we go. We'll do a couple off the front side, and we'll do a couple off the back side. So that's going to even shorten it up for you more. I got to throw out one question, kind of ugly. It looks like he's just going to sleep, which is fine. Okay. How about we do, what we'll do number 1, So notice the instructions. All it says is find your excluded values. So here we go. Let me just write number 1 on the board. So when all you're asked to do is find your excluded value, just circle the denominators. That's all you care about. I don't care what's on the top. Monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Monomial. So what's your excluded value?
0.
There you go. Your answer is EV equals 0. Just abbreviate it like I do. I just said excluded value equals 0. Okay? See, when there's a monomial, it's always 0. You don't even have to think about it. Let's do one towards, give me one on the bottom. All right, which one?
5.
5? Okay, here's 5. And then I'll give you a minute, and then I'll do a couple on the back side. Okay. Here's number 5. So right off the bat, what do you notice about the denominator? It's a trinomial. And so when it's a trinomial, we have to put parentheses around it. Okay? So since this is a trinomial, we put our parentheses around it, and now we have to factor it. You have to factor to tell your excluded roots. Ethan, you're good at this. What's a minus plus always going to be? Minus minus. X times X. I did put all those multiplication charts over there, those factor sheets if you need to help, but we can probably figure it out. What times what is 50?
25.
When you add them, you get 15.
10.
10 and 5, right? 10 and 5. All right, we're done. What would make this go to 0?
Positive
10.
Positive 5.
And positive 5. Positive 10, positive 5. Opposite of what you see. There you go, we're done. Notice we're not canceling. All you're doing is telling me your excluded values. Okay? That is all you do on 1 through 16. But I'm going to throw out a couple off, and I'll just make them extra credit. You can make 13 extra credit. Holy cow. Some of these are, how about 13 through 16? So 13 through 16 is extra credit. You can do it, it's just got pretty detailed factoring there. So you can make 13 through 16 extra credit. So I'm going to give you a few minutes, try to get 1 through 12 done real fast, and then I'll do a 17 and 20 with you maybe. And that one, they want you to do the whole process. So get it done, get extra credit, but when somebody gets to 17, let me know, and we'll just do it as a group together. Okay? What music you guys went today?
Metallica.
Classic? Metallica?
Yes.
Kanye.
Oh, that is absolutely no. I could be pretty lenient with music, but I cannot listen to rap.
Bon Jovi.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
What is rap? What?
Eagles,
What?
Eagles is better than Bon Jovi.
Actually,
There's a man that knows what he's talking about.
That's me.
How about,
Fluff.
this is classic rewind, which is classic rock.
me.
I like that.
Hey, yo.
Wait,
Hey.
That's a good song.
there you go.
That's
Little AC/DC. All right, get to 12. Get to 12 real quick.
Yeah, let's put some food on.
Remember, all you got to do is factor the denominators. Factor the denominators and tell me what makes it go to 0. And then I will do 17 in a minute.
Can you,
Is that a monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Yeah, so whenever it's a monomial, what makes it go to 0? It's just 0. So I can immediately look at 0, 0, 0, 0, because these are all monomials.
I just didn't.
Oh, this is not, this is not. So when you see it.
Oh, wait a minute. How did we even? Oh.
Sing it.
I know. So,
This is
oh yeah, this would be EV
I wonder if I can get her to play 6.
So that's difference is squares.
7 would be B, C, 0.
Hey, hey, hey,
Down here, well,
Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't be because 56 was crossed out.
This doesn't have a variable. This
hey.
doesn't.
No, no.
It doesn't have any restrictions. You only have
Why?
restrictions with one variable.
35.
Just say that. So I'll do, once somebody gets to what, 17, I'll do it here. I'll write it up here on the board. If I get this done, I'll come around. Hopefully I can check off yesterday's work and this work and give you extra credit. Just do them both at the same time. But I'll write 17 on the board. What's that?
This one. I don't think nobody did those.
this is there, but for
Yes, sir. Which one? 7? Since there's not a variable down there, you don't have an excluded value. There's nothing to make that zero. So just say none.
so just
So
Yeah,
it'd be
you don't,
0.
don't say 0, that's a number. Just say none. There's no excluded value.
Okay.
Well, just say, then I know you mean. Just say
I'm just
none.
gonna say, without
Yep.
Wait, and then.
Because you have to have a variable in the
Right.
denominator to have an excluded value. There you go.
Let's see, 8 would be.
So that factors, this is a weird factor, and this is difference of squares. Let me ask you this, what times what is n squared? One n, right?
Yeah.
What times what is 9?
3.
So that's going to factor to n plus 3, n minus
Or
3.
9 and 1.
No, it's because it's got to be the same number, it's difference of
Oh.
squares.
n minus 3
n plus 3. And now what makes those go to 0? Minus 3 and
All right.
3 and
I'm
negative
driving on that highway.
So I can just write
equals.
I don't want to go.
Yep.
Working with Ed, it is classic rewind. A big transition happened for the JVC Starship. Grace Lake and Marcel.
So you took out.
What did you say?
So you yeah, you would have.
I'm the one.
Don't.
As someone who called me family member, was she?
Okay, we're not serious. Daddy, 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 daddy.
At least I didn't call him right here.
Nope, 7, since this doesn't have a variable, there's no excluded value. Just say
I
no.
need it, I'm
You
done.
have to have a variable.
Flux.
And at least I can coach. And at least I can coach here on
No,
this
but then
thing.
I can change it. Don't do that. So all you care about is 56.
No.
Yeah,
Variable, so
yeah, turn it in, look at him.
don't say 0, because 0 is a
Yeah, the
number.
ones that are just by themselves,
That's it.
just even zeros.
Wait.
Cody, you got a question?
No.
Number 9.
Are we gonna do it?
No.
I don't know what I'm.
Okay, so this is a monomial, right? So anytime you have monomials, what times 30 is 0? 0. So that's anytime you see monomials, your answer is always 0. 8 times 0 is 0.
So like,
Now here, you gotta start back, because these are binomials, right? No, no, we care about the binomials. We don't care about
like
the
scale 1 to how much?
Usually I like, we start going over stuff at the beginning of class. But if we move, it's
Thomas, did you Bro, just like number 6.
Is anybody 17 yet?
Well, I'm there.
You're there? Well, you're probably working ahead though. 17 is identical to what we did yesterday, just factor and cancel. But just tell me your excluded value before you cancel. Number 9?
You put these in parentheses.
Yeah. You
Good.
gotta put that in parentheses and factor it,
I have a question on 10.
okay? Put that in parentheses, right? And what can you take out of both? What's common in both?
And 945.
Take a 9, yep. Take a 9 out. Tell me what's left.
K plus
Yeah, K plus 5.
So
Okay.
it's
On K plus 5, what would make that go to 0?
subtract.
There you go.
So
That's
it's
your
just AB
answer.
minus DT minus 5.
Yep.
What? Not hurt? Not. Not.
So we gotta take out, since this is a binomial, we're gonna take out a GCF. So 12 is the number 4. And when we do just C2, so 12, these are gonna be.
Oh, see? It's about to give me a hint.
So what's the largest? So you're gonna take out a 6. So if you take out a 6, that's left. So 12 divided by 6 is 2A's, right?
If you don't give out minutes and zero, we call it.
And then you're gonna take 4 divided by 6.
Yeah.
So now, since you don't care about that, because it doesn't have a variable.
Well, what do I do?
Probably the best way to do
You
it
always
is
want to know.
let's add 9.
What?
You add 9 by 13.
Gonna be bad? Wow, I cannot believe that. Blah.
That's your So, because if I put 9 halves here, notice what happens, you choose cancel, and you're left with 9. And then 0. So it means we make so the same thing, you're gonna take out.
What should I do?
All right, let me show you, I know some of you are at 17, but if you're not, just jump over there. So, 17 is exactly what you did yesterday. Here's the only thing different. Just a minute. Okay. So look at number 17. Notice that 17 says, simplify, state your excluded values. So, we are going to do exactly what we did yesterday. This is a trinomial. Put parentheses around it. This is a binomial, put parentheses around it. So that just tells us we have to factor everything. So when you're simplifying, you got to factor everything, not just the denominators. So here we go. We have a trinomial on the top, a plus minus, n squared is n times n. So here we go. What times what is 54? When I subtract them, I get 3. What times what is 54? When I subtract them, I get 3. 9 and what? 9 and 6, exactly. So this would be 9 and 6. Now we jump to the bottom. This is a binomial. So we're looking for GCFs. What goes into 7 and 42?
6.
Nope, 6 doesn't go to 7. 7 does, though. So if I take out a 7, I'm left with n minus 6. We factored everything. Now, before you start crossing stuff off, tell me your excluded value. What would make n minus 6 go to 0? 6. Positive 6. So that's our excluded value. Now we get to cross stuff off. What can I scribble out?
6.
N minus 6, n minus 6, and what's left for our final answer? N plus 9 over 7. So we're doing exactly what we did yesterday. It's just that you have to state your excluded value. Notice you state your excluded value before you scribble stuff out. Okay? There you go. That's how the rest of them are done. So make 13 through 16 extra credit. And then if you get to 22 today, show it to me, and I'll give you extra credit for getting it done in class. But at least get it done. You don't have to do that other extra credit. At least get it done. That's easy extra credit, just finishing it up. And then I'll check off both your guys' assignments. I can check off this one and yesterday's for you. Sound good?
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir. What shows that from? Sir, yes, sir.
Oh, math?
Major painting. That's an awesome show. We watched that on the rest of us.
No,
Razor
sorry.
Payne.
Okay.
I kept trying to find that movie one time, and I thought it was Max Payne, and it was like, this guy's white.
No, Max Payne, isn't that like
No.
like
It's my computer.
I know.
I think.
I'm so confused. I'm like, what's going
I'll
on?
look, I didn't see that. Just-
Told me to put it in that bathroom.
Okay.
So don't bring that for people.
So, this is different as far. This is kind of, so let me ask you this.
All
What
right,
time
and
was that?
idiot.
What time was it?
You want to see what I'm
So this is
looking
gonna factor in us three difference.
at? Wow.
Okay. And now you can tell me.
Let's see.
Bring it back here.
Cross out.
I forgot to turn off the recording.
Cross